Hi, welcome. That was a loud hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast. It is brought to you by the delicious High Noon Hard Seltzer. I'm not going to personally tell you about it, but I know some friends of mine who can. That's Kayce Smith and Big Ev. Hi, Kayce.
Hi, Brandon. I can tell you all about it. I am sad to say that I am no longer used to the heat. I am back in New York. It is hot as hell outside. But I'll tell you what, Big Ev, no matter where you are, no matter how hot it is, there's nothing like an ice cold high noon, whether it's the vodka, the tequila. I personally am obsessed with the teas right now. College football season's coming. It's coming up very quickly. The heat, though, is getting to me, Ev. But the high noons, they taste pretty good when it's hot out.
There's one word I use to describe high noon, Kayce. It's special. It's just a special beverage, and it's just fantastic. You said the teas are great. I love the peach, the classics. Every variety of high noon I've tasted has been just special.
And I think I've said this before, but on every floor of my apartment building, like they have a trash room. And recently when I go in to drop my trash or recycling, I've been seeing a lot more high noon boxes because it is that time of year where it's like people are going to the beach, they're going out and doing things in the city. People are loving the high noon. Go to highnoonspirits.com, find a pack near you. Obviously they're everywhere, liquor stores. Anywhere you can buy high noon, you should go get it. Whether it's hot, cold, whatever season it is, but we love high noon. We love the peach. We love the tequila. We love the vodka. And Brandon, we love that football season's almost here.
Yeah, we do. It's so good that football season's almost here. I apologize. I looked alarmed there. There's some sort of musical beat happening in the Chicago office. It's 2:30. It's disco hour. Sorry. We have disco hour out here every day, 2:30 to 3:30. So my mistake. So they'll be passing out our complimentary disco shoes, and we'll be having our fondue.
What are you on about?
What
are you on
That
about?
has never happened.
Blutman?
Quite literally has never happened, bro.
When we're talking to people from the New York office, one of the bits we do out here is to pretend everything out here is much better, and we say things that aren't true.
That did not sound better. That sounds worse.
And also, you do realize that you're talking to two people who spend the majority of the fall in the Chicago office and know you're full of shit.
The disco hour would be elite. It was Cafe Disco. Michael Scott had Cafe Disco to bring the office back together on The Office.
That's
What did you mean? Pretend things are better in the Chicago office?
Well, I was trying to exaggerate. Are you guys not going to? Did they take your chairs away?
I mean, I liked the chairs.
Yeah.
I was not one of the chair complainers.
Wait, what happened with the chairs?
There was a ruckus today amongst some people who wanted a couch in the gambling cave. It was a whole debacle where apparently it was Nate who was the whistleblower that we want new chairs. Some of the gambling people like myself, Marty, Clemmer, Rico were like, we don't want new chairs. We like the chairs. Jack Mack, who has spent a lot of time there with social and gambling, he wanted a couch. So I think that's fair. But Dave was like, get fucked. Denied. Keep the chairs, which I'm fine with. I love the chairs.
First of all, and y'all know the mistake that was made. I personally like Nate, but having Nate as the spokesman, Dave is always going to zero in on that and say no to anything that Nate wants. So that's not good. Even though you didn't need a spokesman because you didn't want new chairs. Big Av, I know you did Pick Central this morning, and what we all saw. You just want to talk about it briefly, and then we can move on.
Yeah, I've got Bell's palsy. I can't feel this side of my face or this side of my face. Can't feel it. Nothing there. I'm talking only side of my mouth. This side of my mouth. Literally, I can't move my face. Half my face is paralyzed. It's fucking crazy. It's getting worse as the day going on. I can feel my voice getting worse and worse. Literally, as this day is progressing. I went to the doctor last night. They said today was day 3, which would be the worst day. And I'll tell you what, the rest of my body feels fine, but this is fucking brutal.
Is it
awful?
Is it okay? I mean, you good?
They said that everything about me. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with me, but my limbs I can feel it, everything fine. My brain is fine. The reason I went because people around me worried I was going to have a stroke.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. If it starts getting worse or whatever, I guess I'll go to the ER. But
yeah,
I think I'm fine. I can't eat or drink very well, which is probably like a blessing in disguise for me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this is going to last 2 weeks or they say up to 6 months are going to last. So if that happens, that's a fucking problem for me. But we'll see. I guess I'm going to power through.
You are in good company.
Yep, the greatest wrestling announcer of all time, Jim Ross.
Oh, I didn't know that one, but
Justin
Joel
Bieber.
Embiid. Yeah.
I had never heard of it until Joel Embiid had it against the Knicks.
I knew about it because Justin Bieber canceled his whole world tour after he got it, which makes sense because you can't move half your face, which would make it hard to sing and talk. So I'm sorry that you're going through it.
Yeah, if it gets worse, I probably won't come in tomorrow. I'm going to power through this, but yeah, it's gradually getting harder to talk as it has gone on. For sure.
Now, as we're doing this, our personal confessions of what we've been diagnosed with. Blutman, would you like to tell everybody about the sexually transmitted infection that you have been diagnosed with? You don't want to talk about it. Okay, that's fine.
I didn't really want to talk about it, Brandon.
All right. Sorry.
I was hoping that he made up something right there, that his brain would do some weird thing and make up what he had.
And obviously, having been on this podcast for 5 years, Kayce has detailed all of her STIs already, so we don't have to worry about that.
Thank you. To all the new listeners, welcome.
Welcome in. This is everybody's sexual history. Buckle up; it could be a while. Not for me, but for others. So we've got college football to talk about. Blutman, can you react at all just one time? I'm not in range of fist bumping you. Just react one time. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I love college football. What do you want me to say? I'm ready to talk about college football. I love
Why are you hollering?
I ain't hollering. You hollered at me.
Why are you hollering?
Came at me.
Why are you hollering?
You came at me. I want to talk about golf.
Sorry.
Also, I mean, the reason you guys aren't fist bumping, we need to be very clear, is because the people said they like the 4-box better.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, listen, if I know one thing, 4 boxes are better than 2.
Retweet.
Yep. Cosign.
Golf clap for me.
All right, so we got plenty to talk about. It is talking season, which is the worst season of college football. But it's talking season. You've had some, I think Big 12 Media Days was last week. Deion said some things that obviously got everybody mad because that's what we do. Deion says something, everybody gets mad, rinse and repeat. I'm not really going to spend time on that because that's old news. SEC Media Day is going on right now. Casey's got some stuff she wants to talk about coming out of that. We got a couple of. I want to talk about the Georgia driving issues, and I want to talk about Florida State and Clemson to the Big 12. But first, I would be remiss. I would be lying if I didn't tell you the biggest thing in college football right now is not actual sport related. It's the release of the long-awaited College Football 25 from EA Sports. We have salivated over this thing for months. There was a time 6 months ago, a year ago, where we're wondering, is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen? It has happened. It is in our hands. It's literally in my hand right now. This is a copy right here. But Blutman, I know, has been playing it. Big F said he's been playing it. I have been playing it. I'm going to try to get through this without tearing up,
Oh, Lord.
without crying.
Oh, Lord. Ew, don't
It's-
ever make that sound.
It's Kayce. It's fucking perfect. It is perfect. It's a little too hard. Defense, I'm not really sure, but when you get on, when you press start and you get on the field, it feels like whatever stadium you picked. It feels like you are playing a game in that stadium. I don't know, Blutman and Big Ev. I'll start with you, Big Ev. I don't know. You've played a couple games. I assume you played with Ohio State.
I played, yeah, so there's some rumors floating around that I might have played my first game against Michigan and went down 14-0 and turned the game off.
Yep.
I'm not going to address those rumors. I'm not going to talk about them.
That sounds like hogwash, but go ahead.
So don't ask me.
Okay.
I may have played Maryland and beat them 47-17.
Okay. All right.
And I also might have played Marty Mush and lost, but we don't count that. I'm not going to talk about that either.
Did you play in the horseshoe?
Yes.
Did it feel like the shoe?
Oh, it felt like the shoe. It was buzzing.
Yeah.
Buzzing. When Will Howard threw that 4th touchdown pass to Jeremiah Smith, place was on fire.
I've been playing my Mississippi State Dynasty. I'm 5 weeks in. I had a week 2 road trip to Arizona State, and the momentum, like when you bust a long run, you see the crowds stand up as you bust a long run, and they're cheering for you when you get to the end zone. But like there would be moments where I would have 3rd and 7. And the Arizona State crowd would get loud as if it's 3rd and 7. When I play a home game, Mississippi State has this thing. They play a loud, like the Undertaker's gong. It's a big bell, big cowbell. Just doom. Like every time there's a third down, it's on the game. It feels like a third down. It just every little touch of like when you get a first when a team gets a first down and they play their band, their little short version of their fight song. It feels like college football. Blutman, back me up on this. Yes.
Yeah, everyone was represented very well except for Rutgers.
So I've heard the complaints about Rutgers. We'll put them to the side. I haven't played all over the country yet. Like I haven't played Colorado, I haven't played Nebraska, I haven't played any of those. But everything I have played is just a true representation of the game. It's wide open. The college playbooks are pretty awesome, like the options, the read options, the RPOs, which I stink at, but the RPOs are in there. What?
The go-go, UNLV, the go-go.
Is that what that is? Okay, so you've been playing with that?
It wasn't as deep as I thought would have been. I was kind of disappointed, but it was fun.
That was actually my critique about Mississippi State's offense. Like, it's a new offense with Jeff Lebby, and it probably doesn't have as many plays as I would have expected it to, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, it was way too hard for me to learn, and nobody cares if I learned or not. But I've had friends complain to me about if you're playing on Dynasty mode, you can't change if you're playing with Michigan, you can really just only run the ball. Or if you can, like obviously you just said with Jeff Lebby, you can't open up. Like, why can't you just make up your own plays?
You could do custom playbooks, but people will kind of get mad at you for doing that.
Gotcha. So that's like just a written rule that you just don't do that.
Yeah,
well,
you can't stay away from it.
Yeah, yeah, but I like I don't know, Liam. Out of 10, I would give this game like a 9.75. What would you give it? You're a little lower?
Closer to like a 7.5.
Yeah, you played it more than I have too.
Like I think the presentation and everything and the attention to detail and blah 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 is all like really good and fascinating, and they put a lot of time into that. But for me, being more of like an online gamer, it just feels too much like a slightly better version of Madden. That's just how I feel about it. I'm sorry. Everyone's going to hate me for it, but I have to be honest. You just be toting that rock, and you be racking up yards very easily. That offense, you're probably in like bunch or wide trips or whatever, and you're throwing for 600 yards every single drive. Like, it's just kind of naturally easy, and then the zones don't really be working on defense. What can you do?
Why are you talking like this?
I'm a
Don't be working.
Just being honest, little gamer talk.
No. I'm not worried about you downing the game. Why are you talking like that?
Gamer talk. This is how I talk when I'm on Discord with my friends.
Zone don't be working.
The zones don't be working. Like the flats and everything, they're not up to par. Is what it is though. I play a lot of my friends in the office yesterday. I beat them a lot. Just what are you gonna do? The Mackley Sports Dynasty I'm worried about. That's just gonna be too easy.
First of all, I'm in that dynasty. I don't think it's going to be too easy. I think I'm going to be formidable.
Right. That's the issue.
That I'm in there. That's why you think it's going to be easy. I've been playing this game for 30 goddamn years, man. You're not going to sit there with your online ass saying, "Oh, it's going to be easy." I'm Brandon fucking Walker.
Yeah, and that's great and all, but 28-0 in the first quarter is not going to be something to write home about when Jalen Buckley is running for like 233.
I will give you. I'm not going to say some outlandish number. I'm going to say a realistic number that I really promise to give you. $200 cash if at any point in that game is 28-0.
That's bad. Brand, that's bad.
What do you mean that's bad?
That's bad, Brand, that's bad.
It's a reasonable amount of money. I'm not being.
That's a lot of money. I'm apologizing to you because it's going to be 28-0 at some point. I'm an honest guy.
Brandon, short circuiting.
Zesty.
What's today? What's today's date, Kayce?
Today is July the 17th.
All right, July 17th. Liam
3:43 Eastern
said 28-0. First half.
Yep.
First half.
Yep.
First quarter's crazy.
Yeah.
First half.
First score is a little crazy.
And I'll give you $200 cash.
Yep.
And if I beat you, you come on this show and you acknowledge me as your superior in that game.
100% will.
Agreed?
Yep. 100%.
Okay. 28-0. Who do you think you are?
Liam Blutman, work at Barstool Sports, Unnecessary Roughness podcast. Help out with the Yak and Mostly Sports, and I used to be a competitive gamer.
What is it? You used to get paid to game?
Made money for myself.
Oh fuck. Okay.
That is something that you probably should have known before you made this wager.
Hold on now. He didn't tell me that.
I brought this up on Mostly the other day.
I don't be listening to you.
I said, yeah, you do be listening to me. Now you're talking like that.
I don't be talking like that.
I was a top 100 Madden player for a few years, and I was top 20 in MLB The Show for a few years.
Top
100 was good.
Top 100.
I said I was good.
Top 100 of all gamers?
Yeah, an Ultimate Team, but like I won't be paying for all the like extra players and stuff, so I was having to play other modes to like draft champ stuff.
Wait, what did you say you were in MLB The Show? Top 20?
Top 20 for a few years, and that'll be a show with that, and they get a little too crazy.
Of every single person that can play the game.
You need a really good player. Yeah.
Brandon,
I was really good.
I want to. What if Brandon?
Yeah.
What if Liam gave you a $100 buyout right now? You just give him $100.
You could cash out.
You could just cash out for $100. Just give him $100.
Big Ev, I'm gonna. It's gambler's logic you just used, and I appreciate that. But no, I'm gonna say no, because at worst I'm out $200. I can eat that. I can eat $200.
Correct.
So I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna let it ride. Am I as confident as I was a minute ago? Yes.
At best, though, Brandon, at best, you beat a top 100 player in Madden in the world.
Former.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. At one point.
Yeah.
It was in
That's
my
bragging right in and of its own.
Yeah. It was in my prime years of video gaming, so probably when I was like 16, 17.
So all right, so this game it came out to, I think it has come out to universal acclaim. I think it has come out to universal praise. I think it's just, I guess I missed, and there are probably people listening that don't care about the video game. That's fine, but you can't deny the size of the impact it has made, the size of the social media impact. That like people just talked about this nonstop. And after 11 years of being away, EA Sports I think did a great job because after 11 years it's hard to live up to any hype. It's hard to give a game and say, wow, this is what we waited 11 years for. And I think they kind of did it. And I know you complain about the online stuff, but as far as offline, which is where I play, I think the older players tend to play offline a little bit more. I fucking love it. I think it's perfect. And I haven't gotten around. I can't tell you what Shadur Sanders feels like to play with. I can't tell you what Quinn Ewers feels like to play with. I can't tell you what it feels like to play in the what?
Luther Burden might be the smoothest player in the game.
So I've been wondering about that because at Mississippi State, I got a guy named Kelly. I don't know how do I say Iraqi? I played at UTEP last year. What is his name?
I think it's fair to say it like that, yeah.
Okay. He's like an 82 overall, and he is dominant at receiver. So I would imagine like a Luther Burden would be almost unfair to play with.
Yeah, he feels a lot different than like any other receiver in the game. Him and Nick Harbor. But
yeah, the guy from South Carolina who's 99 speed at 6'5".
6'5", world-class athlete. Olympic sprinter or whatever he is, track and field guy.
Yeah, I understand he's like unstoppable in the game. He's just pretty good in real life, right? He's not an unstoppable beast.
But like that's what happens when you're a physical specimen like him and
me.
His stats are going to show for it.
Yeah.
So Brandon, did it like live up? I know you said it's a 9.75, so obviously that's pretty up to the hype. But everybody was talking about how this was going to be like a good way to waste time, or not even waste time, but like wait for the season. Like, did it scratch that itch as much as you thought that?
Oh my God, it scratched it perfectly. Like it, you get to immerse yourself in college football. You get to feel, like I said, you go into a stadium, you feel like you're in that stadium. I like to go in my basement. I like to turn my volume all the way up to 100. I like to turn the surround sound all the way up to 100, and I like to just sit and let the fans yell at me. And it's pretty obnoxious the way, like if you're in my house and it's got got a really big fucking house. But anyway, if you're in my house, you can hear me because I get it loud. Like I get if you hear cowbells or if you're playing a game in Davis Wade Stadium, you're going to hear cowbells from my second floor, and it's going to be obnoxious.
Ev, what would you rank it?
I'm not the most like experienced guy. I haven't owned a console since I was like 12, but I had a lot of fun. I was toting the rock with Ollie Gordon. He had a hell of a national championship game and a losing effort at Notre Dame, which is the only time they'll ever win a national title because they're overrated and their fans stink. But the way Brandon said, it scratched the itch perfectly. Like I just was like, wow, I need college football to start now.
Yeah.
And we're getting close. What is it, 5 weeks?
Yeah, we're in. No, it's not quite 5, right? It was 49 days last Saturday to the opening day, right? Not week 0, week 1.
Okay, I counted off week 0 because you still get that.
Yeah, I think it's 5 Saturdays to week 0, maybe 6, something like that.
It's August 24th. It starts early this year, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and week 1 is on August 31st. I have y'all, and we can really dive into this later. Week 1 as compared to last year, kind of loaded. Is that like I know just off the top of my head, just Colorado, North Dakota State's a banger. You've got Clemson, Georgia at 11 a.m. on that. 11 a.m. I'm getting Clemson, Georgia. That's incredible. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. Like that's you talk about a game that's going to change. And A&M did this last year too. Did y'all? No, maybe y'all didn't. Maybe you played Miami like week 3, and whoever won that was gonna change the temperature of the whole season. It didn't really for the winner, but it did fuck the loser season up.
Also, I feel like too week 1, we usually say like, oh my God, there's not that many big games. And there's always like the marquee games. Yeah. There are more games, and then obviously after week 1 happens, we think it's like the best week ever. Like there are more games that would be incredibly disappointing if they weren't good. If that makes sense. Like we're usually pleasantly surprised at how week 1 turns out. This year, it's like, no, there are some bangers on the schedule. And if they don't come to fruition, then obviously we'll just be happy it's back. But there's more like hype, I think, going into it.
I mean, waking up that Saturday, that first full Saturday, and getting Clemson, Georgia smacked right in your face is going to be fucking awesome. Penn State, West Virginia at 11 a.m. is a hell of a game. That's another one. Penn State's got a lot of aspirations this year, but West Virginia ain't bad. And Penn State kind of
night game.
What?
I wish that was a night game.
And Penn State kind of had that bullshit. Remember that bullshit James Franklin pulled at the end of last year's game? He had that fake cover where they were up like 12 and he scored at the end to cover the spread.
People were so mad. Like that was one of those collective gambling moments, whether you were like on the game or not, either which way, that Twitter just exploded. Miami
and Florida at 2:30. That's a temperature game. You know, that changes the entire season for one of those if they lose that game.
By the way, you talking about this, and I know obviously anybody who's listening is in all different time zones. It really just proves that sports in the central time zone is just elite.
So I've never experienced sports in and I know Liam has. West Coast, everybody says it is elite, but I think that's a little early. You know, 9 a.m. I don't need 9 a.m. Mountain is probably just about right. You start at 10 a.m., but to me, Central, it is crazy. It is crazy. It's 1 hour difference from the East Coast and Central Time, and it is unbelievable how much better Central Time is than Eastern Time Zone as far as sports go, or as far as anything goes.
I mean, just like it depends on what you look at too. If you're a morning person, obviously, if you have kids, you have to be a morning person now. I would love to have a game start an hour earlier in the morning. I would love that because I'm just wasting time. And then at night, if you're out and stuff, I guess that's fine. That's why the West Coast would kind of stink. But 11 o'clock, you're getting Clemson, Georgia.
Yeah.
Versus noon, it is a big difference.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, what?
That's what I'm worried about is like I'm going to wake up and because I'm so accustomed to waking up at like 7 on college football Saturdays and getting football like 2 hours later. I'm going to be waking up at like 7 and not have a game for 4 hours. I'm going to be bored to death.
Yeah, it does suck, Liam. I have to tell you, when I wasn't a parent and I could sleep in however long I wanted, like that was nice. I know, Ev, you have that luxury. Like you can sleep in, you go out the night before. But if you are used to waking up early and you have to wait all that time, it sucks.
Yeah. Kayce, if you think I'm sleeping in on a college football Saturday,
fair.
That time from like 7 a.m. to noon is when my card goes from like 10 plays to about 27.
Yeah.
And in the West Coast, I think Kayce said it's the problem is I love that it's early, but when it's like 10 o'clock and there's no game on, there's just Hawaii, which I love Hawaii, but when there's not a slate at like 10 o'clock, it's brutal. It's ends too early.
Big Ev, we need a name for the phenomenon of all week looking at bets, looking at a gambling board, all week looking at it, and having 4, 5, 6, 7 plays you like all week. I'm talking about from Sunday to Saturday morning. You get 7 plays and you feel good about them. And you've looked at the board. You've looked at 100 games all week. You picked out 7 you like. You wake up Saturday morning, you look at that board. Oh, fuck, I like Northwestern. Fuck, I can get Northwestern. Oh, goddamn, Colorado State. I can get Colorado State +5. I like what is it about that Saturday morning that makes everything look good?
So I'll say just for me personally, I've convinced myself that I think my best and my sharpest, the closer it gets to kickoff. Because I think what happens is throughout the week, I get excited, the big matchups, games, and I sell myself on something that I want to happen.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday morning, I'm like, you know what? That's ridiculous. This is going to happen. Or there's a play that I haven't really been crazy focused on all week, and I'll be like you said, like, oh, Maryland +2, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I feel like I've convinced myself, I think sharper, closer to kickoff. Like I said, that card triples in size from about 8 a.m. to 11:59 p.m.
Brandon, I don't remember what the exact number was for you last year, but I remember on this very podcast.
5.
It was 5. Okay, I was going to say 4, but it was 5. And you swore up and down you were not going to put any more bets in than 5 on week 1 of college football.
No. Kayce, I did that for like 3 weeks.
You actually slugged that?
I went 4-1 the first week, like 4-1. I went 4-1, 4-1, 3-2, and then I went 1-4, and it was over.
I thought you didn't stick to it. I for some reason thought that you gave in because like you then added more.
I mean, I might have dabbled a little bit after, I got my 5 plays. I put them in Saturday morning. I might have looked up at 6 o'clock and had a night game. I was like, oh yeah.
I know you did because then I think that you then tried to rationalize it and say, well, you just said it for Saturday, not for Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's parameters here. All right, Kayce, I want you to, after you tell us about someone wonderful, go ahead and get us started on the SEC Media Day stuff you want to talk about.
Okay, well, as we know, going into college football season, our mental health might struggle a little bit, Brandon, because we're a lot more stressed. We're traveling a lot. It's a lot harder to be with our friends and our family, and work gets hectic. And thanks to BetterHelp, this podcast is presented by BetterHelp. It's okay to not be okay. You guys know the drill. We love BetterHelp. Therapy can be extremely expensive. It can be very hard to find a therapist in person that you like. It's all right at your fingertips with BetterHelp. They will match you with a therapist. If for some reason you do not like that therapist, they will rematch you with somebody that fits your needs more. You can call, you can text, you can chat, you can do anything without having to go sit in a traditional office and pay the type of money that traditional therapy costs. And also we know that even if you're not struggling with mental health issues, people have things they need to talk about, Brandon. People have things they want to get off their chest at all times. Why not with a therapist that is certified through BetterHelp? Why not?
Yeah, Kayce, I can't remember your stance on this. Is it okay to not be okay?
It is okay to not be okay, Brandon. It is absolutely. And as we know, this podcast, now I can't speak forever for Liam because they're still brand new to it, but you and I are not okay a lot on this podcast, sometimes towards each other.
I'm okay all the time.
Oh, okay. Of course. That's because you use BetterHelp, because BetterHelp got you on the right track. So go to betterhelp.com/Smith today and get 10% off your first month. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Smith. It is okay to not be okay, Brandon, and you need somebody to talk to regardless. BetterHelp can do that for you.
I do want to thank Kayce Smith for checking in and doing the show from her dentist's office today. It's nice. Well, it looks like some sort of waiting room lobby.
Well, kind of.
No, not kind of. That's a waiting room.
It's not a waiting room.
Looks like a high-end hotel lobby.
Yeah, exactly. You're in some sort of waiting room.
It's not a waiting room.
What is it?
It is a room in the building that I live in.
That's designed for what?
Doing things.
Okay. Sitting.
Sitting.
And
not waiting. Who would you be waiting for?
At one point, you were in that room waiting for Brandon.
Good point, Liam. It's a good point.
Hey,
So
Liam.
This is my apartment building in New York City, and I don't wait in here.
But he just said you did.
I did wait for you.
Okay.
I do like that.
Hey, Big Ev, every room that me and you go into is a weight room, am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the way, Brandon, Ev, and I were having a lovely conversation about weather via texting yesterday. I don't even know how it started, but we were talking about boob sweat and how I have said on this very podcast during Hate Week how much I hate boob sweat. And Ev was like, I mean, obviously I know about boob sweat.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Brutal. I love that heat, though. I'll take the boob sweat with the heat. Sometimes you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Love that good weather.
All right, Kayce, go for it.
Okay, so you mentioned that Big 12 Media Days were last week, and I understand that, like, obviously Dion said some things. Next week is Big 10 and ACC. And as we've talked about a million times on this podcast and everywhere, like the SEC Media Days is a crazy thing that's televised 24/7. I know we're not huge Media Day fans. I have tuned into it more this year solely because I wanted to see how they handle the new additions with Texas and OU, and then also to see Nick Saban. Now, there are a lot of different things we can talk about, but I really wanted to, I don't know if you've seen any of the clips, Brandon, or if you paid any attention to how Nick Saban has been at the desk. I think that I knew he would be good because he's Nick Saban. He has blown me away at how much more personality he has shown. I was dying laughing today when DeBoer was sitting at the desk with him, and he just is so petty. His face, like he's not even really meaning to show it, but the way that he, like the way that he's presenting himself was so funny. And what it made me realize is like this man is going to be good at no matter what he does. I'm going to love his analysis because the questions that he asks, the way he breaks down these teams and these like schedules and everything that's going to happen, he's phenomenal at it. I love it.
So this is a barrier I'm going to have to get over, I guess. I just don't give a fuck what Nick Saban has to say about other teams because listen. He can say, you should have lined up in the 3-3-5 here. You should have done this. You should have done that. Nick Saban was an elite college football coach because he got the elite college football players, and that's as simple as it gets. And the way he did things, I'll never know, but I don't know. It's just something to watch a guy who kind of made a career treating sideline reporters like shit to now be cashing checks and be up there on a studio just smiling and talking into a mic. Kind of fuck you. It's a little bit of my, and I'm not even a sideline reporter like you were, but I just I don't know. It's just something about him. Like there's a lot of coaches that I see on the sidelines. I'm like, I wonder what he could offer. Nick Saban's never been one of those guys. I guess just because he had the entire sport in a chokehold for 2 decades. I was kind of looking forward to getting out from under him. Am I being a petty bitch?
I don't know if you're being a petty bitch. I can understand where you're coming from. And I do think that, and granted, we haven't seen very much of it. It's a small sample size. And he's obviously just talking about the conference that he just dominated for the last 2 decades. I was pleasantly surprised that I actually liked to really hear him talk about other teams other than Alabama. And I understand, Liam, I think that you put up the graphic where, he didn't pick Alabama to be in the SEC championship and players are taking jabs at him saying well, he said to never care about the people on the couch. So I don't care about what a guy that plays golf all the time says. Like those things are funny to me. I do think, and Josh Pate said this, whether it was yesterday or earlier this week, that when college football was asked as a whole, leading up to this year, before Nick Saban retired, people always wanted Nick Saban's thoughts. Regardless of if you cared or not, Nick Saban was the guy that if they changed a rule, they wanted his opinion on it. If they changed something in conferences, they wanted his opinion on it. So it makes sense to me that he would give his opinion now without being attached to Alabama as much, because people were waiting for it when he was attached to Alabama. So I think that that's a good thing to have him talking about.
Well, Big Ev even referenced it earlier when he kind of mocked it a little bit when he's like, I'm not gonna talk about it, so quit asking. Like that was his attitude towards the sideline reporter 5 years ago, and now he's the guy that's talking and breaking down everything. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna listen, so quit talking. That's kind of what I think. But you know what, I will be forced to give him a shot because I'm not gonna watch Media Days coverage. But during college football season, I'll be forced to give him a shot, and maybe I will be also pleasantly surprised like you. Big Ev, I mean that's what you were referencing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I
mean, Saban not picking Bama to be in the SEC championship game, one of the least shocking things that's ever happened. I don't know why people are surprised by it. Yeah. That is classic anyone. It's like any quarterback gets hurt and the team starts doing better. Like you don't want that. It's a very similar situation. He's not there anymore. I'm sure everyone likes to feel like they're valued. I mean,
Yeah.
if DeBoer goes on a run, they win a natty this year, Saban's going to be like, I'm sure in some part of him he will be happy for the players and all that, but there will be a part of him deep down that's like, damn, right? He's as good of a coach as I think I was. That'll happen a little bit if that happens somehow.
Well, there's also a little bit of realism there. Like, I don't think there's anything on paper that makes Alabama look better than Georgia or Texas. So like, I'm not surprised Saban might be playing the game a little bit too. Like all coaches, oh shucks, we got a long way to go. I don't know if we're going to be any good. Because he is still kind of invested in that Alabama program. There's no doubt about that. So there might be a little poor mouth in here.
But I also feel like if he did pick Alabama, then, I mean, you can't win either way, which he's going to obviously learn. Like, because if you pick Alabama, then it's like, well, you're just a homer. Like, what,
Yeah.
then prove it. I will say that I guess like the circulation, and I don't know if he's publicly said it because it's not like I've been watching it 24/7, but I guess, and Brandon, I know you're going to roll your eyes at this, that he has said behind the scenes and to the media that like around him that he is purposely not putting himself in the building and trying to stay away from the program because he doesn't want players to be distracted. And he wants Alabama to truly move on from him and go into the Kalen DeBoer era.
All I'll say is you ask around on the recruiting trail and ask how much he has separated himself from Alabama, I think you would get a different answer. That's all I'll say about that. I can't verify anything, but I just think, you know, even if he's not sitting with the steering wheel in his hand, he hasn't left the car.
Well, according to him, he has, Brandon. And so that, to me,
well, I don't give a shit what a college football coach says. Like, the college football coaches are paid to bullshit.
But he's not anymore. And you're like, and I'm not saying that
he's paid to bullshit more now than he ever was.
Well, that's a good point. That is a fantastic point. But I think that it's good to have him as long as I didn't want to hear the coach speak come out of him. Like, and we'll see what happens during the season. One thing that he said that obviously hit the Twitter streets and hit everything. And like, I guess there's been kind of an overarching thing. And I think as we're recording this, Texas is at the podium in Dallas, but he had the quote where he said, like, I think he used the word tickled, which was kind of weird that Nick Saban talked about tickling, but He said something along the lines of like, it tickles me that people think Texas is going to come straight into the SEC and be dominant. Like they're not running the SEC like they did the Big 12. And whether people like believe that he actually believes that or not, like the fact that he just came out firing with that, like opening up SEC media days, that to me was also kind of bizarre.
Can I say something about Texas?
Go for it.
And I know you might eat this up with a fucking spoon, Kayce. Why do people think that Texas could walk in and just run the SEC when for the last 20 years they never since the national title they haven't run the fucking Big 12? So all of a sudden they're going to start running a harder conference when they never could get a grasp on their own lesser conference? Why? I know they're up right now. I know Sarkisian's got them in a good spot. I know that. But like, Georgia's in a good goddamn spot, too. So is Ole Miss. So is Missouri. So is Alabama. So is LSU. Like, there's a lot going on there. So is Oklahoma, who's coming in. Like, there's a lot going on there. They never ran a conference with only one other elite recruiting power. Why are they now going to run a conference that has 6 other elite recruiting powers? Is that a fair question?
No, it is a fair question. The issue is, and I'll point back, and I'm as much of a guilty person in this as you are. Like 10 minutes ago or however many minutes ago, you said, well, I don't know why Alabama is not better than Georgia and Texas. Like we are falling into that.
No. For this year, I think Texas is one of the top 2 teams. I think that roster is one of the top 2 teams. When I say running the conference, I mean over a 5-year period, over a 6-year period, a 7-year period. That's what I don't Big Ev, what anybody know what Tommy Walker's calling me for?
Talk about dinosaurs.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Did you find about $90 on the kitchen table?
No, I think it's on the bookshelf over there. I think Mama put it on the bookshelf.
All right, thank you.
All right, see ya. Can't find his birthday money.
It's an important thing to find.
Yeah, $90. He needs to find that $90. Yeah, no, good point, Kayce. I do look good today. Good. I agree. Thank you, Blutman. I do have a lot of money, and yes, Big Ev, I smell wonderful. Really good compliments out of you guys right there. I don't know. Big Ev, you're not an SEC fan. Maybe I talk with an SEC bias. It is a balance between thinking Texas can go to the playoff, maybe win a national title this year, and also thinking they're not exactly going to come in and dominate this conference over the next 5 years.
No, I mean they have a stretch of quarterbacks right now where Ewers is good. Obviously, there's a lot of hype around Arch going forward. So talking like a few years down the road, I mean, run the SEC is a big phrase. Like you said, I kind of more agree with you. I think they can have some success early over the next 2-3 years, but it's can they keep the recruiting going forward? I mean, they have a good chance to. But I agree with you. You have like Ole Miss is getting better. Mizzou looks good. LSU, is going to be good. So I mean, to run the SEC is just a bold statement.
Yeah, and I mean,
I would disagree with it.
And Georgia exists, right? So, all right, Kayce, what else you got from Media Days?
So obviously talking about like how there's now going to be in-helmet communication, like the NFL, which we talked about with all the Michigan stuff last year and like stealing signs. Like, I don't think like when we talk about all the changes that is happening, and Liam, like I feel like your brain works a little bit differently than ours. Like that to me is like a change. Now they're talking a ton about it at Media Days and obviously asking coaches how that's going to affect their communication with their quarterbacks and all of that. Like this is because of all the conference realignment and NIL and all of that. Like those are bigger things. Changing to in-helmet communication is a big deal for college kids, no? Like that to me, I feel like is kind of an understated thing that coaches are talking about, but the media is not because it's not as spicy of a topic.
Blutman, I thought she was talking to you.
I was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like you're right, like media-wise and everything is just kind of boring and bland to talk about, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like a pretty significant thing, and
like I feel like that changes a ton of shit for these offenses.
Can I prepare y'all for a jump scare that might happen in week 1? I guess week 0. So I'm playing my game, right? I'm playing the first game, and I'm driving, and it gets to 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, 2:01, 2:02, 2:01, and then the whistles go off. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I didn't call a timeout. I didn't fucking call a timeout. The 2-minute warning. I was like, what the fuck? I forgot we're gonna have a 2-minute warning this year.
Brandon, I don't know if we just had a wavelength moment. I swear to God in the Bible, that crossed my mind no less than 30 seconds ago. I hand to God. 30 seconds ago, I was like, I need to bring up there's a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, that was like, and we'll probably need to be reminded before week 0 because I am playing the game and the whistles, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And
it's because there's so many.
Kayce, I thought it was a glitch in the game. When it said 2-minute warning, I was like, they don't have 2-minute warnings in college, stupid ass game.
He's trying to be like Madden. No, but I mean, the bigger thing is, and like, I understand that like it's all like little tiny things that are changing, like 2-minute warning and like microphones and helmets, whatever. But because we're like still trying to catch up on conference realignment and like the SEC not having divisions is like fucking with my brain this week for real. Like when they're talking about like how the conference is going to happen, like it's just finally all hitting. Like this year is going to be so weird for so many different reasons.
Well, they've done all these gigantic changes at the top, huge, gigantic. Cal, you're in the ACC now, and Oregon, you're in the Big Ten, and they've done these gigantic changes. Oh, by the way, the playoff, you can have 12 teams now, and you want to transfer? Sure, fuck it, go ahead. You can transfer, and here's $200,000. They've done all that in the last 3 years, and by doing that, they can these little changes to the actual gameplay kind of just sneak in there, and I swear it'll be week 3 before I realize before I won't get scared by a 2-minute warning.
Oh, 1,000%. And then like, when people start like throwing around cheating accusations that they're like breaking into the radio frequency of like getting into like helmets and like what offensive coordinators are saying to their quarterbacks, like those things are going to happen. And like, we're just like, well, but did you hear that Texas and OU are in the SEC now and that Oregon's like going to be in the Big Ten? It's just, it really like watching it this week and paying attention to everything that's going on. It like really does remind you how much different this game is going to be.
Can I make a prediction?
Do what?
Can I make a prediction?
Of course you can, better than anybody I know.
That's actually true. So, college coaches talk to quarterbacks different than pro coaches talk to quarterbacks. Pro coaches make a lot less than their quarterbacks. Pro coaches are way more dependent on their quarterbacks for success. The quarterback runs the team more than offensive coordinators do, certainly. College coaches still dominate their teams and still can talk to their quarterbacks any which way because you know what? You don't like your quarterback? Go get another one, whatever. We're going to see at least one argument or sideline fight, maybe even some tears from a quarterback because one coach is going to use his ability to talk to his quarterback not to say 53 razor slot banana YX. he's going to use it to say, "You dog-faced motherfucker, what were you doing right there? Did you not see the second read? What the fuck are you doing?" And then they're going to come out, they're going to get a delay a game, and then the quarterback's going to take his helmet off and slam it on the fucking ground, and they're going to be at each other's throat. That's going to happen at least twice this year.
Well, and that's like, Liam, you said like it's kind of like a boring thing to talk about, but it's really not when you think about what could happen. Because think about when a player, quarterback comes off the field and their coach goes batshit crazy on them, and like, God forbid they grab a face mask or there's any type of physical activity. But usually you can see the communication because people have ripped off their headsets and ripped off their helmets. We're not going to know. Like, how fucking hilarious would it be if you just see like a random quarterback just immediately go over and start talking shit and it starts a sideline fight? It can happen.
Oh, I'm very excited. I hadn't thought of that angle of it. What Brandon just brought up with the coach cussing out a dude over I didn't think of that. That's very funny.
It's accurate though, isn't it?
It is, for sure.
Yes, it is very accurate. I'm envisioning that, and it's I'm envisioning it happening in a action game when there's like 44-mile-an-hour winds. Quarterback makes an awful throw, kind of sails out of bounds, whatever, too. And he's starting to walk off the field, but he's just getting chewed out in that headset. And he's fighting back, and the cameras pick it up, and the match announcers make some cheeky little pun that doesn't go over well with the crowd. It's going to be great.
Brandon, I know that this like is a little bit like of a nerd thing, but it's like when we do like TV broadcasts, like when we did the Arizona Bowl, for example, and people come into our headsets to like tell us what's going on. And like, for example, like Will Compton couldn't even think when somebody comes in your headset. Like, if you've done network TV, you're used to that. Like, do you think that there could be situations where, I mean, these are kids and they're not used to this. Like, I feel like it could end up being a little bit of a distraction to these guys. Like, maybe that's a dumb thing to say, but if you're not used to somebody interrupting your thought process and they come into your ear when you're trying to do something, it's not easy.
Well, I'll say this. If it ends this thing in college football that became a thing, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, when they rush to the line and everybody gets set, and the quarterback goes, "All right, ready, set," and everybody stands up and looks to the sideline, and everybody just looks. All right, wait, all right, okay, here we go. If it ends that bullshit, I'm all for it because I hate that. I
know you hate that, and it might. Before we move on, Brandon, you know what else usually has some pretty good headsets? What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Say it.
It wasn't until you added the word sets where I stopped laughing. Go ahead.
Oh,
Big F, you got me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a pervert.
Yeah.
But great speakers and great Bluetooth in cars, Brandon. And I know that you're a big car guy.
Oh, that's how you got to cars.com?
I didn't know which way to go.
That's how you got to cars.com.
Honestly, I love whenever people like complain about ads. It's like, guys, this is what's paying the bills. Like,
no, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's how.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying like when people are like, there's too many ads. Kayce's excited to get to it. It's like, well, it pays our bills. That's why this podcast exists. Brandon, I didn't know how to get to cars.com, and I just thought maybe I would go with headsets. Okay.
Go for it. Well, they got up to 2 million cars uploaded daily. Well, no, hold on. I might got that wrong. They got up to 50,000 cars uploaded daily, up to 2 million cars at all times. Cars.com. It's the everything place. If you can think of a feature on a car, if you can think of what a car looks what you want it to look like, you can find it there. They got everything, and so much of your identity can be wrapped up in your car. If you're a convertible guy, if you're a Jeep guy, if you're a convertible gal, you can find exactly what you want on Cars.com.
If you want like air conditioning seats.
You want a red car? You want a blue car? You want a royal blue car? I bet you they got it.
You want heated seats? You want anything you got? And as always, going to cars.com is so easy because you can select all of it. And some people like to still go to the lot and check out cars in person, but most people do not want to be bothered with that. Go to cars.com. You can also check on the value of your car, the trade-in value. You can look at all of it. Cars.com. And their Bluetooth headsets, Brandon. Not even headsets, just whatever I was trying to do to get to cars.com. We love them.
Kayce, let me talk to Liam and Big F for a second.
Go for it.
Because I feel like this is going to tickle their interest button a little bit more than it tickles yours, but maybe it does tickle yours. I don't know. How much are y'all enjoying these on Twitter, these high school county logo maps that are just going wild right now? Like Sickos Committee's done a couple of them where they like show a state. I'm looking at Washington right now. They release a state and it has every single logo that you can't see that. Every single logo of every single high school in that state on the county that is. Have y'all seen those?
I've seen them. It's just not interesting to me.
Not interesting to you at all. Big Ev, interesting to you?
I'm waiting for the only one I'd be interested in is the New York one where I'm from. I want to see that big G, that Goshen Gladiators. That's what I want to see.
Every time one drops, I spend 20 to 30 minutes looking at it. I've been looking at the state of Washington for forever. And for some reason, Washington is so satisfying with so many good logos. There's so many stolen logos. Right now, I gotta find this high school that's in the southwest quadrant of Washington. It's just a donkey logo. I need donkey merch. I need more donkeys.
Brandon, I think
I gotta find out what high school that is.
I think this is one of those like old man things, and I'm not talking shit. Like I think this is one of those things. Like as you get older, like you start paying attention to like bird watching. Like I think this.
Hold on. Who told you I've been interested in bird watching? Who told you I've been looking into buying a very nice camera so I can go sit on my boat and take pictures of birds at my.
You have not.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't done that.
It's like
it costs about $3,500 to get in to get to what kind of camera I want to sit on my boat and just take pictures of the birds that fly over the lake.
It's like one of those internet memes that you don't believe until you get into the age range where the men around you are actually talking about birds and the birds that they've seen. And you're like, oh, holy shit, this is a real thing. I feel like maybe the way that you just presented the helmets to Liam and to Ev, who are much younger than you, it felt that way a little bit. Or the flags.
Did you, when you said Jackson Jackasses, were you being truthful or were you just make that up on the spot?
Made it up.
God damn it, I was hoping that one. I gotta see. It's a donkey logo, guys. It's just a donkey.
Let me. It's in
Washington. What am I going to Google?
Washington?
High school donkeys? What came up? You sound like you're cheating in the dozen right now. I've seen this a lot.
State, right?
Yeah, Washington State. But not
could be
not the
East Valley High School donkey basketball.
No, that's donkey basketball that somebody would put on. That's like an event somebody would put on for like raising money for charity. You never heard of a donkey basketball game?
Oh, what is that?
It's basketball on donkeys.
Real donkeys?
Nobody here has ever heard of a donkey basketball game in a high school where you put, for a laugh, you make the teachers play basketball on donkeys?
You're making this
like
up.
horses?
Bro, you're waffling.
I'm not waffling. I'm telling you that
You are waffling.
You're acting like this is like some common thing that people.
I think this is fairly common.
No, it's not.
Shit.
Donkey Y'all never heard of donkey basketball?
No, I thought you just made it up.
You think they have those in New York?
I think they have it all over where a high school, a rural high school, needs to raise some money or something, or just wants to give the kids a laugh.
I mean, maybe they have it in Texas and it's not in like the Dallas area, but
I suppose y'all have never even heard of cow chip contests.
Do what?
I think that was the first time I heard the words cow and chip together like that.
Did you say
that's not true? Cow chip.
When would I have heard that time?
So what you do is you take a football field, you take some chalk, you line off a bunch of squares, you number the squares like a board, like a football board. You number the squares, you let a cow out there, wherever it shits, that person wins the money.
Oh, cow shit! I like said cow chip.
I did.
I thought you said chip.
Oh.
Cow chip is a way to call it. They're not going to say a cow shit contest.
They should.
Maybe they should have. It'd be
What
better.
are you
It'd
talking
be way
about?
easier to understand.
Am I the only one that grew up in America?
No, you're the only one that grew up in Mississippi.
No, you're the only one that grew up in bumfuck America.
Donkey basketball. First of all, you grew up in Texas. Donkey basketball.
Dallas area.
Donkey basketball is a thing. I'll eat cow chip contest. That only one I've ever heard is in Mississippi. But donkey basketball is a fucking thing.
So you ride donkeys while playing basketball?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like actual donkeys or like inflatable costume donkeys?
Actual donkeys.
How do you, do you dribble? How do you jump on them?
How do you jump on them? You're not jumping.
It's like a version of wheelchair basketball. With
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Big Ev. How do you jump? You think you're dunking, Kayce?
Can you hit a jump shot on a donkey?
Oh, my God. I feel like this is more common than you guys. I mean,
No, this
gonna
is where you're no.
how did this start off with me talking about these awesome logo maps? I mean, the Washington map is fucking amazing.
I don't know, man. 10 minutes ago, I was fearing for my life about college football implementing a 2 feet in bounds rule. And here we are now.
They're never going to do that, are they?
I feared for it when we were talking about rule changes.
Oh,
I feared
That's
it for
probably, if you talk about a rule that best separates pro football and college football, I think it is 1 foot versus 2 feet.
I'd agree with that. I mean, that and the overtime. Those are the two biggest differences to me.
Yeah, but overtime, college football has dicked around with their overtime so much that they've kind of fucked it all up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still better than NFL overtime, though.
What was it? Penn State, Maryland, or Penn State, Indiana?
No, Penn State, Illinois.
Penn State, Illinois. Yes, sorry, forgive me.
9 overtimes, 19-17 final.
Just disgusting, gross, ruined the game. It was
Yeah.
funny.
That's
I'll give them that. It was very comedic. I apologize for forgetting it was Illinois, but goodness, why can't I mean what? Ugh.
But goodness.
Auburn last year, the Iron Bowl had it.
Yeah.
Was that 2 years? No, was that 2 years ago?
It wasn't last year. It was because they beat it.
Excuse me. It was Bryce Young 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Brandon,
Yeah.
where is the origin place of donkey basketball? According to Wikipedia.
The way you're saying it is either Mississippi or the way your face looks, it might be Texas.
No, neither.
What?
I guess.
Yeah, get a guess.
Please fucking let it be New York.
No, it's gonna be something like Oklahoma.
Iowa.
It's Ohio. And
Yeah,
it's,
they're like a
it's
southern, not southern.
Marengo, Marengo, Ohio.
I would say, Big F, what you just said is kind of brilliant. Rural Ohio is maybe the most southern place that isn't in the South. Although rural Illinois, rural Indiana, rural Ohio, rural Pennsylvania, all of those are southern as fuck.
I mean, even Columbus, like on Ohio State's campus, there's a Waffle House.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that
There's
either.
a Waffle House on North High Street, which is like the main strip of campus.
Brandon, I hate to tell you this.
Yeah.
Donkey basketball is canceled
What do you mean canceled?
because they said that they want to help nurture kind kids, not bullies.
When did we become such big fat pussies? When did America become such a big fat pussy nation?
COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
COVID's fault. It's COVID's fault that the donkey basketball games that no one's heard of are gone.
Just like the all-dressed ruffles are gone from stores.
Donkey basketball is a variation of the standard basketball game played on a standard basketball court, but in which the players ride donkeys. A donkey basketball game is usually staged as a one-time fundraising event, typically in public schools. Commercial farms provide donkeys and equipment, splitting the proceeds with the hiring party. Donkey basketball has been practiced in the United States since the 1930s. Donkey basketball has been targeted by animal rights activists. Fuck you, PETA.
Yep.
Which claims
Now,
to
I
support
would say to give credit to your point. I mean, growing up, I didn't have it in high school, but like the fact that I never heard of it in rural Texas where I went to college is kind of bizarre. I mean, I guess when I was there, it wasn't a thing, but you would think that would have happened in College Station, Texas at some point.
My God.
Just a few more things before we get to the last point. So, Brandon, your favorite thing from from coaches, whenever they become very godly. I told the guys this before you logged on. You know who is the newest coach on your list to use Bible verses to his advantage? Which, again, we're Christian people, or I am. I can't speak for everybody else. And I'm okay with it, but in front of a podium, it usually gets some eye rolls. Do you know who has most recently done it this week?
Before you tell me that, my stance is I am pro-Christianity. That is my personal stance. But
Mine too.
I get uncomfortable knowing what college football coaches have to do to be successful at the highest level, knowing what they have to know and what they have to skirt. There's a lot of them that skirt the rules, and then they will stand there and throw Bible verses at you. That rubs me the wrong way.
I agree.
Who is the new one?
Our friend Billy Napier at Florida.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah, I bet he is trying to go to Jesus. I bet he is. The unemployment line's calling. We better throw that Bible at him.
I knew you would like it. Like I was like writing like notes down, and I was like, in reality, like talking about the Bible at a podium, like whatever. But I knew you would like that it's Billy Napier.
Yeah, his favorite book's gonna be Exodus because that motherfucker gonna be exiting soon.
It was such a dad joke. He went from quoting the Bible, which again, I'm pro Christianity, I'm a Christian, whatever, but that, and then going into like a profusely long thank you to all the media, because he believes that the media is the reason that college football has the passion around it. It was like one of those, like, and I understand SEC media days or any media days, like it's all coach speak. It's like blah, 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 whatever. But it just was so fucking funny to me that it was Billy Napier doing it. I was like, Brandon's going to love this. I know he's never going to see it unless I bring it up, but he is now added to your list of coaches to use the Bible to their advantage.
It was a terrific start to his farewell tour.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. He'll be coaching Liberty next year. All right, what else you got?
Yeah, there were other things. I mean, like Brett Venables said that he is now, this is the year that his defense will finally be there, Brandon. He said that the last 2 years at OU, the reason they've not been as good is because rebuilding the defense. I'm kind
of completely over coaches saying, yeah, year 3, I finally got my guys. Year 3, I it don't take long. It used to take 3 years. It doesn't take 3 years anymore. Kalen DeBoer played for a national title in year 2 at Washington. It'll probably be pretty damn good in year 1 at Alabama. Like, the portal is wide ass open. You know how long it took Jonathan Smith to get a quarterback at Michigan State? About 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, like, all these coaches are coming from somewhere. You have access. Like, Billy Napier saying, this is the year. This is the year we finally got our defense implemented. If it takes 3 years to get your defense implemented, you're a bad football coach in 2024. That is my opinion.
Yeah, no, Brent Venables, he said, I think
Venables, not Napier. Yeah. Sorry.
When he said it was like, it's not been fun trying to rebuild the defense to his standard. And in year 3 / the first year in the SEC, his defense will finally be up to the standard that people believed he would have it when he came to Norman. So that was like a little tidbit. Obviously, everybody's asking about, OU and Texas joining. They said that, like, just overall, just kind of the thought process is just like coaches don't like that there's a lot of change, but they're having to pretend that they like it because that's what they're paid to do. So just really, I mean, it's like you said, it's talking season, but I like that they're actually talking. Like I'm sick of the opinions of like, oh, it's only on Twitter. At least we have things that are actually now moving forward that's talking about the 2024 season.
You got any more of our fine partners to talk about?
I do, Brandon. I do. And it's one of my favorites because I love sheets, Brandon. I do. I love a good set of sheets. Okay. Yeah. I know. I just set you up here. Boll & Branch has been a partner of ours now for a little bit. If you watch the Mother's Day special with myself, Megan Making Money, and Barstool Kate, you know that they were the title sponsor of that as well. I love Boll & Branch. They're luxury sheets. They're 100% organic cotton. They know exactly where that cotton comes from. They are so great and so breathable. And as we talked about off the top of the show, it is hot as hell in most places that you're probably listening to this right now. And if you sweat when you sleep, it's disgusting. It's awful. Boll & Branch has incredibly nice, breathable sheets. And we're giving you 20% off site-wide right now. So they don't just have sheets. They have robes. They have pajamas. They have all sorts of great things. I wear their pajama shorts all the time. I absolutely love Boll & Branch. And we're giving you money off, Brandon. Who doesn't like money off of a good set of sheets? Who?
I love money off of anything, but sheets especially.
Yes, their signature sheets are loved by millions of sleepers and have over 11,000 5-star reviews. They also have a 30-night worry-free guarantee, so you can wash them, you can style them, you can sleep on them, and if for some reason you don't like them, which I've said the Kayce Smith guarantee, you will like them, you can send them back and you get returns on all U.S. orders. So if you don't like them, I don't know what's wrong with you, but if you don't like them, you can send them on back. So Boll & Branch right now, again, 20% off site-wide. It's the best savings of the season during Boll & Branch annual summer event. So they're great gifts. People will not complain when they sleep on them. For a limited time, you get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping and a free gift with qualifying purchases at bollandbranch.com with promo code RUFF. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com, promo code RUFF for 20% off and a free gift. Exclusions to apply. See site for details.
A couple things I want to talk about before we get out of here. Blutman, I'll go ahead and give you permission if you want to start working in your mind on the Blutman Minute. We can have
it. I also have something else I want to bring up after you.
Fist bump.
At what point is Georgia's driving culture a problem?
Now, yesterday, 2 days ago.
It's been a problem.
Right, but usually with a problem, somebody steps up to address it. Somebody steps up and fixes it. Obviously, Georgia has had multiple players over multiple years get cited for reckless driving and other driving-related offenses. Obviously, they had an incident a couple years ago, which we lost a player and a member of the recruiting staff. But I don't mean to recruiting staff. I wanted to get the title right. I didn't want to impugn that person. But like, we had that, and now last week we found out we have a couple more with reckless driving, and like at some point Kirby Smart has he has the best program over the last 5 years. He has the best team. He has it all going in the right direction in Athens. Why the fuck can't he get control over this aspect of the program, Liam?
I don't know. He went out and said that they're using NIL fines to deal with driving issues. That ain't working.
That ain't gonna fucking work.
We've had 24 issues that have been like reported, documented, whatever. There's probably more than that. And that's since the crash in 2023 that killed, like the fatal crash. 24.
Big Ev, if I gave you a salary for this show, I gave you a salary of $500,000 over the next 4 years of your life, and then you fucked up and you did something wrong on this show, so I fined you $5,000 of that $500,000. That gonna bother you at all? Nothing. Just
zero.
Doesn't
fuck it.
I'm gonna pay the fine, get in my car, and squeal the tires as I speed out of the parking lot.
That'd be like my unit betting. I pissed that away on tennis this morning.
I'm not holier than thou. I'm not any of that. But like, there were signs that Urban Meyer's Florida teams were going to go downhill were there when they were winning national titles, but everybody was getting arrested. And I'm not saying that Georgia's going downhill or anything, but like, if you can't control such a public aspect of your program, I don't know. I don't even know where to take it from there. But that it's got to be telling of something that it just keeps happening. They either don't respect him, they don't respect somebody. There's a hole in the process here somewhere, and I'm not sure when it comes back to bite Kirby Smart, if it ever does, Kayce.
Well, and it's not like it's the only place that's giving away cars. Like, that's the most obvious fucking statement of all time. Like, we saw the picture that went viral outside of the University of Texas with all those sports cars.
Everybody's got Lamborghinis these days.
I mean, right. So it's not like it's like, oh, well, there's some dealership at Georgia that's just giving faster sports cars or something. Like, the fact that it's all happening, for the most part, we're seeing in Georgia, like, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something going on. And obviously it's happened at other places, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And like, what can they do? They can't, I don't think they can take the sports cars away.
It also shows you the sickness that is college football fandom. College football fandom rots people's brains, because you can go to a Georgia message board and you can find people saying, well, yeah, they're getting pulled over and they're getting charged with this stuff. You know why? Because Athens PD has it out for Georgia's players and Kirby Smart. That's why. Athens PD, it's their problem. Your players have turned Athens, Georgia into a fucking racing strip, and you're worried about the PD. You're getting mad about them. That's college football poisoning somebody's fucking brain, Big Ev.
Was that Carson Beck? I saw a quote card. Was that quote Carson real? Beck. That was a real quote, Blutman?
He's got like I don't know. He has a Lambo. I don't know what kind. And he was like, hey, man, obviously my car's fast, 100%, but I don't drive like an idiot. Real quote.
He was like, yeah, of course my car's fast. It's expensive.
I thought that quote was going to blow up. Didn't it? That's crazy.
I will say, Brandon, that at one point I did have a warrant for my arrest in Athens, Georgia for an unpaid speeding ticket.
Really? So you could play defensive end for Georgia right now?
Yeah, I paid it, though. But
then you're out.
Yeah, no, I'm out. But I did have that. Like, and I remember being very pissed that I got pulled over in like a rental car in Athens, Georgia when I was covering a Georgia game. So I'm not saying there's any like real like reality to what those message boards are saying. All I'm saying is I did get a speeding ticket in Athens, Georgia, and I don't have very many on my.
I'll say this about Athens. I've said before, I think it's the best college town in America. It's a walkable ass city, man. Like there's street after street after street of bar after bar after bar, restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. Like you You ain't got to drive that much. You can park somewhere and just walk to the next bar and walk to the next. I guess eventually you got to get home.
Is the problem? It's so close to Atlanta too, and like how I mean, like in
Yeah.
college, I know like a ton of my friends would always go to Austin to party. So it's like you got to get in the car to maybe they're going to Atlanta. I don't know, and like they get caught coming in and out. But I do think that there's a major issue, obviously, with how do you fix it? Like, do you say, okay, fine. Like, if you come play at Georgia for the next couple of years, you don't get a sports car. Well, then, all right, fine. I'm going to go to Ohio State and get one. I'm going to go to Texas and get one. Like, what do you do?
But as long as they're winning national titles, which they've won 2 of the last 3, Georgia fans don't give a fuck if he gets that fixed.
No, of course not. But I mean, obviously, people have died over it. I don't know.
All right.
Consistent issue in, sports in general. Like the Jordan Addison thing's crazy.
Yeah, 2 weeks after a new teammate gets killed in a DUI, he gets a DUI.
Almost
Crazy.
a year to the date of him having one last year. And he's just asleep at the wheel in L.A. What's he do 2 days after that? He's posting a picture of him just sitting alone at lunch, just drinking. Crazy.
Yeah. What was the topic you wanted to bring up, Blutman?
Some more of the talking season stuff. Greg Sankey at SEC. Actually, it wasn't even at SEC Media Days. It was just on Jacksonville radio today. Was talking about Georgia missing the playoff. Georgia was one of the best 4 teams. They didn't get in the college football playoff, but you didn't see us jumping up and down and complaining and hanging up national championship banners. I thought that was kind of a funny quote.
It is a funny quote, and looking back at last year, we kind of probably undersold the clusterfuck that playoff really was. Obviously, Florida State got the headlines. They went 13-0, didn't make it. Looking back, Georgia probably had a fucking beef. Like, Georgia was really goddamn good and didn't make it. But I guess it's just one of those things, like the 4-team playoff didn't allow Georgia to get in more so than they also could have showed up in Atlanta and played Alabama with some fucking courage and balls instead of showing up like pussies.
That's they should have lost.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Did you also see that? And this is another thing that just coming out of media days that I don't know if it was Sankey. I think it was, but like somebody else underneath Sankey as well. When they asked if they were going to penalize horns down in the SEC, they scoffed at it. They were like, "Are you kidding me? Why would we do that?" And they were like, "It's not offensive." They use they called it the mall rule,
The grocery store.
Yeah, if you do it in public and people are offended, and the way that they talked about it was just so belittling, which was hilarious. But so belittling to the Big 12 and Texas fans, what the fuck's wrong with you guys? Why would we ever penalize that? I loved that.
His name is John McDade, and he said the act itself needs to be offending to the senses. If you took that act, horns down, out of a football stadium and did it in a shopping mall or a grocery store, would it offend the senses to a majority of reasonable people in the area? That signal would not. He basically called Texas and the Big 12 pussies.
Yes. And again, I know people are well, you're just saying that because of where you went to school. No. If somebody did, thumbs down to me or whatever, everybody's handling it. If somebody talks shit about a cowbell, you wouldn't cry about it.
No. They do it all the time, and I don't cry about it. I'm a man.
Is it true? I heard them ask Jeff Levy today. Is it true that in order to be an official cowbell owner, that you have to be gifted?
Given your first one? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you have to be gifted your first one.
So what if you're a Mississippi State fan and no one ever gifts you one?
That's like, what if we wake up tomorrow and the sky was pink? Like that. If you're a Mississippi State fan, somebody's giving you a cowbell.
But what if you're a kid, I don't know, in LA and you decide you love Dak Prescott and you're okay, I don't have a college team.
I'll say right now, if there's fans out there of this podcast and you like Mississippi State and you don't have a cowbell, you hop in my DMs. I'll fix that immediately because I'll get cowbells to everybody. I'll cowbell this whole fucking country.
They're probably all blocked by you already.
Great point. That's a great point.
Yeah, you know what? Big F. Sometimes somebody scores on you.
That was good.
Next play. You just go to the next play. That's all you can. That's all you can do.
I know we can't talk about exactly where we're going, but it is officially college football season countdown because we have our first few dates of the college football show on the road, and brother, am I excited!
All I'll say is in September we're going somewhere we've never been. Right?
And we're going to a game we've never been to. That's very hype.
Oh yeah, we're going 2 places we've never been. Yeah. All right. Any more partners there, Kayce? We're good, right? Blutman, you ready for the Blutman Minute?
I am. Now, this Blutman Minute is kind of, how do I say, inspired by Kayce and Brand, you guys made your picks on DraftKings for that boost. I
Sure.
believe Oregon and Oklahoma State were the two that you guys took.
Hers
I
took no
took one.
courage.
I took one as well, and I took South Florida to make the playoff. Love South Florida. And let's be honest, how many teams make the playoff this year?
12.
Like half the country. It's 12, but we talk about it like 96 teams are going to make the playoff. That's how we talk about it. South Florida's a really, really good team. They're going to be the group of 5 rep. Alex Gola should already be at a much more established. He should have a Power 5 job. He should be in the SEC. I don't know. It's crazy that he got passed up on or maybe just didn't take certain offers in the carousel last year. Nonetheless, one of the brightest and younger coaches in our sport is at South Florida with an absolute weapon at quarterback in Byron Brown. Speed kills. He's also got one heck of an arm. Defenses are going to have so much trouble keeping track of that kid. Naquan Wright as well, just a really nice running back to have. And then instead of like drooling over the roster, everything, talk about the schedule. You've got a test at Alabama, which they handled Alabama pretty well last year, despite being a very inferior team with really no expectations at that point. You've got Miami at home. You're at Tulane, and then you've got Memphis. Aside from that, they're winning every single game 100%. Tulane and Memphis are very gettable. Miami's gettable as well. This is a team that should be going 10-2. They shouldn't be losing a game after October 12th, so the second half of the season. They should be winning out. They're going to win the conference championship, in my opinion, as well. There's the best team in the AAC, best team in the Group 5. You get them, like, really good odds to make the playoff. I love South Florida. Go South Florida.
All right. For those wondering, today's Blutman Minute clocked in at 1 minute 56 seconds, and 73 whatevers. I hate to go back against you. It's your minute. I mean, you're dismissing Memphis a little too casually there, I think.
I'm just the South Florida guy. Alex Golish is Himothy.
That's fine. So is Memphis's quarterback.
Yeah, but Alex Golish is head coach.
Oh, I thought you talked about okay.
It's his
What?
minute.
Alex Golish, born in Russia.
All right, it's his minute. Sorry. All right, we'll be back next week then.
Memphis is good, though. Yes, Memphis is very good. I'm very much looking
Hey,
forward to it.
hey.
I'm sorry. Yes. October 11th is like my national championship. Memphis, South Florida, Friday night. Let's go. Also, though, my national championship, South Dakota State, Oklahoma State, North Dakota State, Colorado, week one game. Oh, can't wait. College football. College football almost here. I'm hyped.
All right, so we will. Casey's number's just been called. She's got to go back and sit in the dentist chair. So
shut up, Brandon.
she'll have fun.
Look at this, though. This is cool, huh? Do you miss that?
Wow, that's the Empire State Building. Yeah,
Sure
I forgot
is.
you lived right by it. I love that building so much. Anyway, whatever. Football. We'll see you next week. That's Unnecessary Roughness.